seeing the schedule in just a bit. But this bracket, no one expected that we'd be here, wherein potentially Onyx ID could be eliminated.
I mean, let's put the visuals up there for everybody out there. The Swiss stage bracket has been pretty, I would say, if you are outside some of the major regions, have been a little controversial, right? Because it's really coming down to the point of who really makes it to the next stage. And out of the major three, we're still surprised that, even for me as a Malaysian fan, that SRG qualify earlier than teams like Onyx, for an example, and even AE doing pretty well at the international years alongside with the Filipino Giants.
Yeah, it's so surprising too to see how some of, or I'd say really Yangon. Like I think a lot of people have somewhat had expectations for Yangon, but it's crazy to think how they're able to accomplish it against teams who people had much more expectations towards. That's namely Onyx, which you also did mention, and which we will be witnessing later on in the last series of today.
Yeah, but the first series, we're going to start it off with the champions of Cambodia against the champions from Mongolia from the wildcard zone, the last remaining wildcard team in M7. CFU Gaming, of course, still a lot of questions as to what's going on with their performance, what's happening. But once now, they are going to be fighting their first best of three in this tournament. Maybe we'll see them in the form we're a little bit more familiar with. While for Black Fantasy Sports, NCG, I think this is the mini little wild card of the Swiss stages. So we first have to explain the draw that we're going to have later for the knockout. So 8 teams will be split into 3 pools. We have the 2 teams that have gone on 3-0. The second pool that has 3 3-1 record teams, and the third pool with 3 3-2 record teams. Step 2, start with seed pool 1. Draw 2 teams from seed pool 1, place them into 2 separate halves of the bracket. Well, here's step 3 and 4.
Yep. And then immediately after, we have to start looking at the process of seed pool 3. Now, the reason why we jump into seed pool 3 is because we also have to look at the first teams playing against that pool. Now, generally speaking, seed 3 is going to be those who qualify the latest within the tournament as we look over to step 4, because seed pool is anybody who has taken a loss but still managed to qualify. So it's really important to understand here at the Swiss stage, having a clean record puts you at a huge advantage, because technically that would be the strongest teams, while C3 would be the weakest teams being the last to qualify.
It's pretty similar to what we're used to seeing, especially in our local MPL regions, wherein whenever you qualify or whenever you put yourselves up there towards the end of the standings in the regular season, then you are guaranteed to at least have either, let's say, an upper bracket advantage. But in this scenario, you're guaranteed to go up against teams who did not fare as well compared to you in the Swiss stage.
Yeah. Here's a little example I can give you. So 2 out of the 3 3-2 record teams will face 3-0 teams. So let's look at Onyx Indonesia. If ever they make it out and they end with a 3-2 record, they only have 2 possible opponents for the first round of knockouts, either Alter Ego or Selangor Red Giants.
There is the possibility that they actually skip the top 2 and look to maybe get drawn later down the line. At the end of the day, it comes down to the draw pool. If you are the third on that pool for seed number 3, you actually have a slight advantage going relatively even against opponent who also has the same score.
Now let's look at the first matchup of today. CFU Gaming against Team Zone. No more testing the waters. No more zoning out. To be fair, here's something that I'd want to say about Swiss stages. I feel like the best form is the more unique picks. Picks like the Leomord, all of that. Teams who are willing to tap into that deep pool of, hey, what the heck is going on here? This actually works out if you think about it. That's the secret if you want to make it out of Swiss.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it wouldn't be too impossible for our teams or for these teams to actually bring out those ideas, or if not the more unique picks, those picks which are a bit more signature to them, because I think we saw that work, especially for, let's say, CFU, when they started to go back to the likes of the Joy, and that's considering that they were able to set it up really well in the draft. Then we saw how they were just able to show us the gameplay we've been wanting to see from CFU for so long.
Comfort picks play a huge part in the tournament, but at this point, and especially how demanding M7 is requiring all of these teams to hit in terms of just raw mechanical execution and smart playmaking, the meta also demands for them to say, hey, what we saw from yesterday, TL put on a massive class of macro, barely even fighting their opponents. I think we're going to see a lot of teams actually understand, hey, we have to make something happen. If we get pushed into a corner, we cannot just let them do what they want.
Of course, as we all know, when it comes to the major internationals, we have our wild cards, right? And one of the few teams, one of the two who made it through the wild cards this year and are still here, it's Zone. They have a very interesting story. Of course, we knew that ZX Aura did mention that he paid for the team out of his own pocket to boot camp in Malaysia and improve. So let's find out a little bit more about Zone, their journey, and why they deserve to be where they are now.
Since M5, international events have been harsh for us Mongolians. Since Lilgan, there has not been a very notable achievements for Mongolian teams.
我注意到6个人的团队就是在 M5的 Wildcard 的时候，当时候就被他们的热情所打动，然后就想要支持他们了。我相信他们应该是因为没有太多机会去跟强的队去打比赛，所以我觉得这个是他们输的原因。
I think we need more tournaments there. We really do. We have a big player base, but lack of tournaments, lack of human resources is the issue. I'm the coach of my team, right? And I manage my team. I handle the social medias. I design the posters. I drive them from the boot camps to the tournaments.
This time it was also kind of difficult situation because I heard it from the coach as well as Zauras funding the whole boot camp.
Before the qualifiers, we had a boot camp, which we rented it with our own money, with our players' parents' money. Our players' parents helped us a lot to make it happen. When we were practicing for the qualifiers for the M7, there were nights we went to bed without eating because we couldn't afford it. But we were so happy because we beat our opponents so badly in the scrims, right?
We want to be the first Mongolian team in the playoffs.
They have made it so far, but if they make it to the next stage, it will be even better. They deserve it.
我过来支持Team Zone也是为了支持6干的成员。这一次我相信Team Zone一定可以打进8强了。
Everybody wants to compete in the international events, so that determination, that love for the game is what fuels us Mongolians.
I legit feel so emotional after that. It all started with Zixora and the fun fact we learned about him during the wildcards, but now you hear it from Coach Summer that he himself does so much for this team too, all fueled by passion.
Passion, love for the game, and truly looking for an international moniker to walk with him, and honestly looking to break records for the region. It's passion to a different degree. It's truly sacrifice.
Will Zone be the first Mongolia team to make it to the knockouts in the M Series? The journey that they've been on was not the easiest, but not a lot of people even expected them to make it this far. Yes, they were some of the best teams that we had in the wild card. No one expected them to really be getting through to the wild card. But now here they are. Yes, they are fighting for tournament alive. But there's a reason why Zone is up there now today amongst the names that people are watching out for as the dark horses of the tournament. But for Zone, they're not dark horses. They are contenders. But going up against them is a team that should not be overlooked. From a region that also embodies that spirit. Love for the game, passion. The fans of Cambodia are some of the most fiercely passionate MLBB communities that we have in global MLBB esports, and they have to survive the Cambodian Sharks, which now, 3-game series, we know the experience of this team. This is going to be a really tough test for Zone.
It really is, because it really breaks my heart when I see two very passionate teams who put a lot of sacrifice and time, investment into the game to try for a world title. As much as Team Zone had to use natural funds and lacking resources, CFU, this lineup, and especially these players, have been working for a total of 4 years, an accumulative 4 years, to try and even get remotely close. One, to get out of groups, and now that we switched over to Swiss stage, making it to a playoffs.
Yeah, and it feels so different when you actually see them in person, when you see things or their personalities even outside the game, and just how fun of a bunch they are, because I think just yesterday we saw them at the hotel. They were joking around in the elevator, they were laughing, and I believe that was around the time that they were probably practicing or preparing for this matchup that they're going to have today. But you see how they're trying to handle everything so lightheartedly,
Yeah.
but you also know how pressured they probably are, knowing that once again they're carrying the Cambodian region behind their backs.
But I'm pretty sure with all the experience that they have under their belt, they are used to this pressure. They reverse swept, the MPL Cambodia Season 9 finals to qualify for M7. They have momentum on their side. They've already taken out one wildcard team who says that they can take out another one. Remember, Boostgate took down Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro was one of the favorite teams to make it here.
Yep.
So the fact that they swept Boostgate, didn't even give them a shot to continue fighting, means that this is a team to watch out for.
Yep. I mean, there's so many things that could potentially go wrong for this, but I'm excited to get this game started.
Yeah. I really hope so that now with CFU and for Zone, I'm sorry, it's gonna sound like the typical thing that we say, but I want 3 games, man. I want 3
Oh,
games.
it's okay.
three.
I'm okay with
I
that.
want 3 games. I want just
I don't know.
like that. They're just nonstop fighting, bro.
Personally, I wish that these two teams didn't have to meet each other, because no matter what, the heartbreak is going to be so much worse, because it sucks, right? For CFU, it's like we've been working so hard for 4 years.
Mhm.
For Mongolia, it's like international wild card successful runs 2 years in a row, never made it into the playoffs. So once again, I feel like there's just too much loss here at the end of the day.
Yeah. So now they make the grand entrance. It's Team Zone and CFU. Every step they take on the world stage is history for Mongolian MLBB. Back to fight for their lives are Bankai, Kenny, Bright, Kay, and Zixora. Get into the zone! Team Zone! It's not been the easiest journey, but the question is, will it end here? Or will they keep riding and moving forward, get a shot to make it to the knockouts?
And going up against them, the blood that awakened them is no longer theirs. Can these sharks prey on another wildcard team? In the XP Wadu, Jungle Detective, Mid OP, Romboxy, and Gold Sing. Keep swimming, CFU Gaming!
You can cut the tension with a knife. They are so locked in right now, both CFU and the Zone. No one's playing around. As we welcome in the coaches. For Zone, it's Coach Summer and Beku. For CFU Gaming, Coach Tymigo and Coaches Bob.
Big shout out to our Marshall Gary, making sure competitive integrity is kept throughout this game. We hope there's no technical issues to stop the momentum that either one of these teams could potentially generate. If it's not just the mental strain and the pressure in the arena that's going to make them collapse, a single mistake could topple over the entire team.
It's a battle of composure. You can feel the intensity. Even the Indonesian crowd. No Indonesian home ground teams here today yet, but you can feel the tension in the air. CFU Gaming. One person that I really want to look out here for is Singh. Fortunately, I have yet to feel his impact this M series, and I want to see it here.
Yeah, I think it was something we previously talked about when they did go up against Boostgate. But that moment was, I guess, one of the rare or few instances we actually saw him hit his power spikes and put great use to it. So I hope they're able to maintain that and continue that play style heading into this Dordai match.
I mean, personally, I think that right now when the meta is already asking you, when we look at CCC, we look at Wadu, they have these playmakers. But then we start comparing the gold laners, right? Both K is looking to trying to keep themselves alive. A lot of gold laners don't want to force a play just yet, not as excitedly as Sigaboom. That's why you have people like Kenny to be that secondary carry if all else fails, or even Zexora, depending whether he gets an assassin.
Yeah, that's the other question here for Zexora. Do we put him into utility? One of the reasons why Team Zone are the team that they are is because if ever all else fails, if Kenny and Kay can't carry if something has happened to them in the game. It's ZXora who shows up with an assassin and suddenly brings Team Zone back from the brink. But if you put him in utility, he can't really do that. But you need that flexibility to go into utility, especially when you're going up against CFU Gaming, who have a very mean player for the Fredrin under their belt, which is Detective. So let's look at the stats real quick. Grok is currently one of the most successful heroes in M7 with an almost 89% win rate, winning 8 games in 9 picks. Will he be left open? If I'm Team Zone, I don't want to see CFU pick up that Grok because ZXora will not be able to play if the Grok is in the hands of CFU.
Well, I think the bigger issue right now is the fact that, Grok, he is good for a lot of reasons, and the major one is that he counters and can stop the major players in the game. We're talking about the Claudes here. We're talking about people who want to go in and use that Trinity build to take advantage of their opponents. Even carries, who technically is supposed to be a counter to the Grok, really suffers if a good tectonic charge connects.
Yep. Stats-wise, though, I think Team Zone, and since they played all their games on the red side, have always banned out the Grok. But I think we have a quote from Coach Timigo that they understand how there are both positive and negative comments from fans and that they didn't perform well enough. So they just accept these criticisms, but at the same time, hope that they can also encourage the players because everyone in the team is working extremely hard and truly wants to win. So it's like they just don't want to let the comments get to them in a negative way.
Yeah, I definitely don't doubt see how hard CFU Gaming's been working. Of course, we know they swept Boostgate. Even their game against Aurora Gaming PH scared me a little bit. It wasn't the cleanest MLBB, but it was very competitive MLBB. CFU Gaming are not a team to back down from a fight. They will take that chance to fight if they strongly feel like it can turn it around. Which is why I'm kind of worried here for Team Zone, man. Yes, they've made it this far. They've had some terrific performances. They themselves have gotten a win over Boostgate when it was still in the best of 1 stages. So these are two teams who have challenged Boostgate, have looked very good against Boostgate. But usually when you see two teams who fight so well, it's the one that with significantly more experience that shines better.
Well, actually, I would make a little bit of a disagreement here. I'm on the opposite end. After watching both of these teams play, the one thing that does stand out to me, yes, we've got playmakers in their EXP, but the big problem with CFU after playing against Aurora was the consistency of how often they were able to get a good execution. And the same can be said about Team Zone when it comes down to the mid-early game, right? I think that's going to be their biggest problem, and we'll see whether they've adapted for it. But first, we must address the draft. We're going to Broken Walls.
Ooh. Broken Walls for our first game here in this series. So whether or not the Grok comes through, I actually want to see which sides they'll be taking first. Because if Team Zone's on the red side again, oh, there you go. That's the Grok ban. Okay.
As expected, they want to play Assassin. So one thing that Zone maybe would want to consider if it's available for them, we've seen it pop up just a little bit more, but the first 2 picks, Hilda, really gives a little bit more room for your Assassin to shine, if ever. But there are still things to consider here, especially the Claude, the best marksman that we have in the game right now, and with an extremely high win rate. That's crazy that they banned out the Yi Sun-shin, considering that they are blue side, though.
Yeah, I mean, are they trying to narrow down the hero pool in the jungle? Because they both use very similar jungle heroes, and we're talking about if they want to force out utility heroes from ZXora, that might be a great move.
Could be. While you are typing out your theories as per the draft decisions, of course, type out who you think will win this match. Go to the chat right now. Is it Zone or CFU? The votes are getting updated live in your screen, so you can check that out.
There's a Yuzhong, by the way.
There is a Yuzhong that's wide out in the open. I understand that CFU were looking for opportunities to be like, you know what, we're going to get the Claude anyways. At this point, how do we kind of slow down Zexora? Do we want something that is punishable, right? Hayabusa is punishable, Lancelot is punishable, especially when the real test is how often can you execute well in these team fights.
Wow.
So they go for the safe option, right? Yuzhong alongside with the Hylos.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on this Hylos just yet, but let's see what the next 2 picks from CFU are going to be.
I'm always okay with having a high loss around and there's a Claude. I mean, yes, it's very one-dimensional to just look at the Claude and say, hey, let's pick up the high loss for the easy stun. But we have seen before this M7 that it has stopped or at least diminished Claudes a little bit. It's not a 100% high loss straight up counters Claude. It just makes it a little bit easier to deal with.
Yeah,
That just means that you take all the wins.
it just means that you can't like BMI right on top of
Yeah,
somebody and then hold your flicker hoping that they would respond to it, right? And now CFU are going back into a really, really comfortable style of play. Right now, I'm expecting to see Buck CCC, who again, in his own region, 100% win rate when he gets his hands on that show. Lapu, another great way to kind of set up, knowing that Kenny might be the main focal point for the side
Yeah.
of Z1.
So it's either do they pick up the hero for K here in Red 3 already, because the likes of the carry is still there. They just want to make sure that we'll get the usual Claude carry matchup. But if we're done with that,
I'm pretty
I don't
done with
mind.
that.
I don't mind seeing something else.
Personally, I think they need to go Lunox or something that has iframes to work with. It feels like it's very much CFU wants to make sure that Farsa is just a non-option for them.
So, is it the mid or is it the gold?
Oh wait,
They still want to play the Farsa into the Claude, into the Cho, into the Lapu.
Yep.
Brave is an understatement.
Very, very brave. And I think that, again, Coach Summer has a really good idea of what the draft needs to look like. All right, we're sacrificing the mid lane, but we're immediately going to take out the utility junglers, right? I'm guessing the Fredrin's also going to be part of that second ban phase. But from CFU's side, do you just target gold laners? Get rid of the carries, get rid of the rangers? Is there anything else that's relatively good here?
there's a Harith. Although the Cho Lapu.
No matter what, the marksman has to take the Purify, right? And they can't go
Yeah.
double fighters because Ishin Shin's out.
We might end up seeing a gold laner here that maybe won't even pick up the Purify. It's still going to be tough, but there are very few teams who are willing to pick up a Flicker on their gold laner because they're thinking a little bit more about the repositioning. Right now, you don't even see the jungler for zone. And with YSS Leopold getting taken out, there's not a lot of room anymore for zone to go for a fighter in the gold and play a carry. Not a carry, but like their main carry option in the jungle. There's just not enough. There's no picks anymore that you can put in that slot.
Because even the Hayabusa might feel a bit pressured in this kind of lineup.
Yeah, with the Joy getting picked up, I think Zone just might have shown CFE that they're thinking about Granger.
They could, or they're giving the. Well, we'll see, right? Because I still think that they can pick up Fredrin for themselves, and then they can leave the question over to CFU to see what their full composition is. Oh, they go Hayabusa. They don't mind. Okay, so they go Hayabusa. If CFU decide to get Fredrin, they decide to go carry. If it's anything else, probably Granger, right?
They don't mind using the Farsa into this, nor the Hayabusa into this.
I mean, the carry is already banned, so I guess they're kind of backed into a corner. I mean, Bruno, I suppose, but even that doesn't feel that great.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much dive from CFU that if you even go something a little bit more static, like an Isha, and you go pure backline, that's really going to be hard to pull off. Especially if CFU decides to pack in a tanky fighter jungler here. Fredrin's still open for them. They can definitely go down that route. If they want to go Fredrin, Kimmy also, they're lacking the range, but they have so much dive that they won't need the range.
Possible Sora.
Sora already banned out. Oh, they do go Fredrin, but they go for the Zetian, who has been climbing up the ranks a little bit more. And it is the Harith that they decide to go for. They don't go for physical. I mean, with the high, yeah, they already have the Hayabusa Yuzong. They just decided to go for more magic burst here. I'm leaning a little bit more towards CFU here, but the zone does have a window. It's just very difficult to get through it.
Yeah, if it's just sheer damage and aggression, then on paper, Team Zone's lineup looks really, really good. But we really have to consider the amount of disruption, or even just the Lapu and everyone else diving in or into these backline heroes that Team Zone picked up.
Yeah, I think a lot of this early game is going to be dependent on the supports alongside with the EXP laners, right? Everybody else is going to be supplemented by how these two lanes are going to move. But as we start getting into the game, we're going to be answering all of those questions as the Land of Dawn opens up for these two teams for our very first best of 3 to kick off today.
And we have 3 overall for this day of Swiss, all of them eliminations. As we all know, it's so important to win game 1 in a best of 3 because that instantly puts you at match point. CFU or Zone again, type it out in the comments section who you think is going to win this. And as always, let's look at the mid prio who will be able to clear much easier and who will be able to keep their health at a better state.
Sing doesn't mind giving away priority in the lane itself, knowing potentially could be dangerous, and also speeding up Fredrin's initial clear. As you can see, it's always going to be a little bit slower than the Hayabusa overall, but that's going to be totally fine, right? We go into our first tech pause. Luckily, we did it in the first less than a minute, so
Yeah.
no momentum built. It's all a good time.
Yeah, it's just so far the Zetian once again sort of really handling the lane pretty well. The range is just a bit too crazy. I know
Yeah.
it's been adjusted a bit. And more than damage, I think if you're just capable of poking out the opponents in the middle lane early on, then that just grants you a really
Yeah.
good advantage.
I think that's also one of the requirements if you want to make sure that Zetian's good with her mid prio,
Yeah.
or to even add more to that, just have Joe with you, or any roam that has a concussive blast. They clear out the middle so fast that there's not a lot of room for you as a mid laner to trade. They're just gonna clear, and then you're gonna have to. All right, I guess we're gonna clear, but then that means we're behind in terms of the rotations, or they're not even gonna rotate early on. Zetian's just gonna keep throwing her skills at you, and then you'll be brought low, then forced to go back. It's not like the perfect 100% Zetian
Yeah.
and Cho is always going to win, but it's not the easiest matchup to go up against.
Yeah, and it's a great way to just stop all those early quick rotations you could get from a
Yeah.
Farsa. Oh, what?
Look at
That's
how
cool.
close that is. 3 votes difference. 3 votes difference. And you could be that part of those 3, chat. So please get on it right now.
Can I type both?
This,
Can I
What
type both and
happens if
add
that
one to
happens?
both?
this is why it's important to vote. See, look, it's so close. See, it's 2 more people voted, and it's still 3 apart. Who
Like-
didn't vote?
I personally think it's one of the other teams where like sympathy. And
Yeah.
then they voted for the other one and they realized, wait a minute, this doesn't change anything.
So
It's
you
still
can
net neutral.
vote for both.
It could be. It could be. Who knows? Who knows? But with that being said, I do want to talk about the technicalities, about the, especially with the mid lane dynamic, right? I don't know whether or not people prefer the high loss over the Cho in these types of situations. At the end of the day, they both kind of do roughly the same thing, with Cho having better clear in the first like 3 minutes of the game. After that, it sort of evens out later on, depending on what the build usually is. But I think the main concern right now is if Cho or Boxy is able to get a trade out freely against the Farsa, that could slow down. For an example, if you see them shunpoing towards you, there's a pretty good chance you're going to hit wings by wings, and that's going to slow you down from taking the normal path of the river and having to go through the jungle.
Yeah, I feel like if the combinations of the heroes were just a little bit more different, we could have seen Team Zone pick up the Cho for themselves. But now that they had the Yu Zong as one of their first 2 picks alongside the Hylos, I feel like they were just thinking also that, hey, if we have the Cho and the Yu Zong, that's 2 dudes initiating, we have no one to peel for the backline. At least for one, if having either the Hylos or the Yu Zong, you can delegate. Either one's going to stay and one dive, vice versa.
Oh.
Based on the game state right now, I think they're playing it really, really well, both Opian as well as Boxy.
Oh, now that's the flicker forced out of OP. Not much he could do there. I get it. They were playing it really aggressive because they were winning out majority of the lane, but that's the Hayabusa you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's cool. That wasn't even a level 4 guy. That was just level 3. He just showed up with a shadow and immediately got OP.
And that's exactly what you want to do, right? And I think from OP's POV, it's like, I don't mind taking the first initial stun. He just wasn't expecting Zora to gank him pre-level 4. So again, a bit of creativity, but more importantly, it's about execution. It's these smaller moments that you need to take to start building advantages. This is why I think the meta is so heavy on the playmaking, because it's moments like this that's going to allow Team Zone to fight for the turtle.
Yeah, now everything's just on Team Zone side. The control, the rivers no longer dominated by CFU, so we will be definitely seeing something here in this turtle fight. But Bankai, though, forced under his turret. Now there goes the Landshaker, stunning 2 people from Team Zone. Will they go for the counter engage? They are quite low, so Team Zone might have to reset for a bit.
They still have their ultimates. They can get back in there. They need Bankai to first start the jump and maybe target OP down, who just hit level 4.
What, are they not going to reset this? That's the Black Dragon form already committed by Bankai. He's looking for a target. They're trying to go for Detective. Fury of the Phoenix already committed, but they're going after Kenny in the back lines. Kenny goes down. Detective takes the turtle. And despite everything that was committed, it seems like everything's going a bit too well for CFU as Bankai goes down next.
They lost the shape of the fight, and now they lose their purple buff for that as well. Wadu, with his second bravest fighter, has already dominated this side of the map, and this is what I was concerned about. The EXP laners now starting to fall behind from the side of Team Zone allows CFU to create more opportunities to force plays.
Unfortunate for Zone. I think that's just all experienced by CFU. They read the situation perfectly. They know that their gold laner will be able to join. That is the nature of the Claude now. First Turtle, he can just come in the fight because of how fast he can get through the map. And Team Zone, I feel like they should have just called back. They needed that purple buff for their Hayabusa. And going up against a Fredrin, a Lapu, yes, we already saw the Landshaker, the bravest fighter, committal, and you have the Yuzan, but it's way too tough to make that fight work. It's so demanding of your team to get that turtle.
I guess they were just really banking on the Black Dragon form.
Yeah.
But even then, all other resources of CFU were available too. It's just the bravest fighter that they saw being used. There was still the Fury of the Phoenix and Wave the Dragon onto Zixora, but there might be no follow-up. Detective and OP couldn't dish out the right amount of damage, but still Wadu will as well. Bright is still alive. K2 looking for a target in the mid lane, but they will not find any.
Can we get a replay of that? Oh my god, Boxy! What a sick Cho play. You blink, you miss it. How quick was that way of the dragon to guarantee that Zixora was not able to get his ult?
Yeah, on point. Zixora was already charging up the animation, but then Boxy was able to kick him back. And now CFU has a DHS for their Claude, which in 2026 January MLBB means power spike already. Just one item, man. Nerf him!
Oh, if the Dragon, Bravest Fighter, all committed on the Bankai. Landshaker doesn't connect though, so he's still able to use the Black Dragon form. But the sustain you see from this Yu Zhong keeps him alive. But without that, Team Zone might not be able to contest this objective.
Yep, they have no Petrified to do it. And Zixora's maybe thinking of getting in on this. Bit of an awkward quad shadow there. I don't know what he was aiming at.
If it was older Hayabusa, that definitely would have been closer. But I'm pretty sure at this point he's definitely very familiar already with the quad shadow length. I guess he was just reaching for the stars at that moment. It felt like
He was hoping that somebody would just walk up into it, you know?
Yeah.
But you see Boxy right beside you, and I don't think you could stay for any longer.
He's already kind of made a name for himself at this point. There's a lot of respect going over to Boxy from the side of Team Zone. You can see that they get a little bit nervous when they notice his presence around the map, and I think that's something that's good, right? However, what are they going to use that leverage for? And I think at this point, now that there are no buffs left on the map to actually fight for, you can see that Boxy is proactively looking to either kick Bright or even Kenny.
Oh, Fury of the Phoenix cancels out the Feathered Airstrike.
Oh.
But Zixora still finds Boxy. Will OP get to find a trade? It seems like the damage and the range will not be enough. But then K arrives, and with the Zaman Force, will try to take down OP. But Wadu will provide some help. Right to joining in with the Glorious Pathway, but now they see three members in front of them. Sing is just stealing the auto attack, so will the Appraiser's Wrath connect.
Okay.
There's the knock from Bankai using the Black Dragon form as well. But Sing is still able to deal all the damage that he wants.
Oh my goodness, it's a game of cat and mouse and Sing luckily preemptively flickering, knowing that the Zixora is paying attention to the BMI. These are the moves that you want to see from our professionals.
lots of focus at the center of the map. Seems like Team Zone, though, I feel like they could be a bit more active, or excuse me, proactive. But Zixora just has so much gravity towards it. Oh, the game!
Speaking
Oh,
of Zixora,
He can't be using Quad Shadow anymore. Zixora must hold his Quad Shadow for as long as possible.
I didn't expect Boxy would be committing the flicker and the full combo, but in the end, that just completely snuffs out any rotation the Team Zone wants to have or any presence that they want to have in this map. 3 turtles will be going to CFU. K has been able to farm up well and is now one of the few ways that Team Zone can make a comeback through this. Feather of Heaven up for that Harith. CFU can just keep this up with their aggression. Now they look to help Sing.
yeah, but I have to say that they've been really aggressive so far too. I don't think there's been any instance where the flickers have been down or have been not used at all whenever there was a team fight. It's always Boxy, Sing, and OP aggressively making use of the resources that they have, and it's so Team Zone. You could understand how defensive they're starting to play everything, even with the Hayabusa in their lineup, even with this Hylos in their lineup.
Look at Detective. I really love the way that he builds on this Frederick. You should be looking for as many components as possible because the raw stats, look at him. He's level 10 and he's just beating him up. What are you going to do about it?
I like it when I see Fredericks like this. It's really just, yeah, I definitely can frontline. even though I will be taking damage, it's fine. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna end up hurting someone, and I do have the health as long as the other members of the team are there. So good call by Detective.
Oh, Purify forced out.
Nice.
Okay. And that's it. They didn't commit the Way of the Dragon or anything.
That's exactly what they want, because now they can set up a dive angle, and you can tell, okay, he's like, nah, he's not about it. He does not want to show on the map anymore, knowing that Boxy could come on him at any time. I think they're also keeping track of the battle spell, so 10 seconds left until Hooker.
Oh, Wadu's all alone here. Fury of the Phoenix, though, someone helps him there. Uses the flicker to reposition out.
be fine.
He's against 5 right now, but it seems like he'll be okay.
Yeah. Queen's Wings, second item for Wadu. That's crazy. I usually go Oracle, but no, he just straight up goes for the Queen's Wings. And at this point, he will be very difficult to take down. So now you have both the Fredrin and the Lapu Lapu as heroes who can just front, soak up damage, deal a lot of damage, and survive at the end of the day.
The two main damage dealers that they're most concerned about is Kenny and Kay. Now that Zixora does have the Sky Piercer, maybe he's a little bit of a threat, but only if you are low. Prior to that, it's not doing as much damage as you would like to. Oh god.
Once again, Bankai in the bottom lane. Use.
What? Just auto him!
It's okay. It's okay. He's alive. He's alive. That was a Black Dragon form, though, and we have a Lord.
They're gonna get the T2 off of this, and with this Lord as well, the snowball is not going to stop.
Okay, Boxy seems like he's a target. But they're just able to run away. They forced out the Glorious Pathway even. Now that's another resource down for Team Zone before the fight even breaks out.
Man, Boxy already used his Way of the Dragon, and he's still posturing as if he still has it. And now, Brave trying again!
Wait, Wadu!
Oh!
No! Still gets to finish off right! Now it's Bankai that they're trying to go after. Without the Black Dragon form, they're just gonna chase after him. But Detective says no. The call is different. They're gonna transition towards the Lord.
Queen's Wings Rush, way too good for CFU Gaming, and they have gotten all major objectives so far in this game, including the very first Lord. Wadu's still going. He knows that there's no one in Team Zone that can take him down this early. Yes!
Oh, Bankai, you gotta be careful!
Bang!
And there's nowhere to run. Now the Landshaker connecting once again for members of Team Zone on Wadu, but he will force them out of the turret, and that'll result into another casualty. Bright goes down as well.
Goodness. I told you, the EXP lanes are going to make a big difference in this game, and Wadu now developing a three-level lead against Bankai. Bankai has lost his relevance. Even if he wants to get on top of Opie, you can tell he still has his passive to knock him away. And even with the Petrify, it gets big out early.
Whoa!
Wow!
The energy eruption into the Fury of the Phoenix. And with the Holy Shields, they're able to keep themselves safe out of the turret.
Detective, OP, Boxy, that was a sick combo. Whoever made that call, it could have been Detective who says, hey, I'm going to be able to get this this taunt off, get that Fury of the Phoenix down. There's a kick.
Way of the Dragon onto the tankiest member, and they don't care. Now it's Bankai next, and no front lines left for Team Zone.
And oh!
And the blazing duet into the
Thank
Richard
you.
crowd. Kay, fortunately, still alive after that, but it could have been much worse.
Dear God, the Cambodian play style with the snowball, they're so confident.
Oh, Zora still
Ooh.
able to get something out of that.
Sing overheated a little bit there, though. He should not have given up that kill. Seems like the rest of CFU wanted to back off, while Sing wanted a little bit more. But thank you, Sing, for building a Winter Crown. We've been asking for this for all M7.
Yep. It's just expected at this point. We expect you to build that Winter Crown. We expect you to make these big plays of their own. However, looking at the state of the game, yes, it's a 4.5k lead, but it's not like Team Zone's completely out of it, right? They still managed to hold their inhibitor turrets. In terms of the raw items, Kenny's almost there. Zixora, yes, he's able to find 4 kills, but now, oh god, Boxy.
Okay, Fury of the Phoenix, that'll help Boxy. Wadu
Oh!
landing Landshaker onto, but the Fettered Airstrike, there's nothing to cancel it right now. But Wadu doesn't care. He still goes after
Wow.
Kenny, and he's able to finish the kill. Now the Black Dragon form forced out of Bankai as well, but he doesn't get to find anyone. Detective trying to go in. There's another
Oh!
flicker from Opie, and now they still want to go for the fight. The Blazing Duet once again dealing enough damage onto the members of Team Zone. Bright trying to run away, and so is everyone else, but Wadu stands in front of him and says you cannot go anywhere.
And that's the experience we're looking for. If Team Zone would make the same play, I don't think it would have been as synchronized. See if you saw this from a mile away. Great awareness.
Okay, they get to dodge the bravest fighter. but
Oh!
they couldn't dodge the damage. Better Air Strike. They have to run away now. My goodness, Kay couldn't even last 2 or 3 seconds in his Zaman Force.
No, he could not. One of the few things Zetian is able to cover almost the entire, like 2/3 of the Zaman Force with just their first ability. So he will get shredded away ever so slowly.
And we knew this Harris pick would have difficulties. We thought they'd opt for range. We thought they wouldn't pick up the Harris, but they decided to lean in on it. And because they could not get the early game that they were looking for, especially since Bankai lost the lane against Wadu, Team Zone has just completely gotten out of their hands. They are playing solely through hoping that CFU Gaming will be able to make a mistake. With the itemization of Wadu up to the Oracle already, only up to the Holy Crystal, yes, but at this point you want a Divine Glaive on K. Now 4 items will be enough to make CFU Gaming wins, but if it's enough to win it is a different question. They're so tanky at this point.
They kind of are, right? I mean, they're stat checking. That's the whole point. And now that they're past the 42K mark, this is their last opportunity to try and go for an end game scenario. Afterwards, it's just going to even out, and maybe Team Zone might pull through, all assuming that they don't lose this crystal off of the Lord push.
Yeah, because they're syncing up the waves really, really well. And it'll be a tall order for them to do that with all these heroes we initially did not expect them to bring out. It's not just the Harith, it's also the Farsas that we did not expect to see from them, but now they'll have to say goodbye to their first base turret. And there's another wave coming up in mid.
They gotta guide that Lord down, right? Take advantage of it.
Okay, there's the BMI already. Boxy still not looking for Kit. Oh, I take it back. He actually finds one of the most important members at that. Zixora is down for this defense. And there goes another Mavis Fighter and the Appraiser's Wrath combo saying going in 2. But he gets taken down by the turret shot. And now CFU lose their marksman.
We still have one more siege minion though, but CFU Gaming will back off as Zone successfully defends.
They get to live. They get to live. There is nothing wrong with living and sacrificing all of your inhibitor currents. The only problem is that now coming up for the next Lord in 66 seconds, they're going to be at a major disadvantage. It's not up to them anymore whether they are able to win this game or find that comeback. Let's look at the replay one more time at the very least, right? Because this defense really boils down to what is the most important thing. And yes, Boxy is still making these insane plays. I would argue that he's going to be the MVP by the end of it. But at the very least, Bankai finds a little bit of value while K is able to get in and out of these fights. This is how the shape of the fight needs to look like. Kenny is your anchor, and so is K. They cannot be using their abilities at the same time unless they can guarantee a kill on Sing.
Sing though, he really needs his time. His entry is just a little bit better. I know he was sending back the members of Team Zone, specifically Kenny, but he should not have eaten all those turret shots in the hopes that he'd be able to take someone down because they need him to lock in. OP also having the Winter Crown there was very clutch. Definitely Bankai could have just straight up blasted him, but he was able to Winter Crown away the passive of the Yuzong.
Yeah.
And the combo, the full combo too.
I guess Sing didn't really notice that the turret shot was on him too.
Yeah, the man was so locked in with getting that kill. He really wanted that.
He wanted it, but now how do they even contest for this Lord, right? It's an almost guaranteed non-contestation for CFU. As Team Zone just locked in their base, unable to do much about it, right? If one of them get picked off at 60 minutes into the game, it's roughly like, a 30 to 40 second, depending on who dies, respawn timer, which is pretty much game over at this point, knowing that the Lord is going to spawn in about roughly 10 seconds.
Yeah, CFU Gaming can definitely finish it off here unless errors again, a little bit of jitters or over eagerness to end it, leading to members of CFU Gaming, especially Sing or OP, maybe even Wadu falling down unnecessarily early. Zone still same condition. Wait for CFU and hope they make a mistake.
Wadu, who's 714, by the way, on this Lapu-Lapu. And now Boxy once again, but he gets stunned by Bright. But nonetheless, look at the damage from the Blazing 2 and the Winter Crown! Sing is able to do so much, and now without any hesitation gets to lock on the towers. Game 1 finally goes over to CFU.
That was a beautiful adaptation right at the very end. They had already made sure that they have conditioned their opponents. Who comes in first? It's always Boxy. And if you don't stop him, guess what? You open up angles for everybody else to start trickling in.
Blazing Winter, very good. That's my analysis.
Yep. You use your stun as the high loss, and now everyone gets to go in whenever they want.
And he even juggled that. He ended the game with immortality. He juggled this Winter Crown immortality just in case he got taken down. That was a great angle, great read by Sing, and now of course Zone really have to go back to the drawing board here because I feel like that draft could have gone on differently. The last two picks feel like they just settled into, okay, what's comfortable for us, what is the best pick for us personally, but not for the big picture.
I feel like their big picture was too narrow, actually. Their first opening picks weren't too bad. The high loss did not necessarily need to come out there. And I think they could have waited for maybe even like third pick to see, oh, you picked the Cho first, and then maybe you would look for a different opportunity later down the line. But at the end of it all, right, I wouldn't say that it's Bright's fault. I think a lot of it just boils down to where the rotation needed to go on the map. They were worried for K's life, and that is why they kept on leaning to that side of the map when CFU decided to try and blockade them through that river. But Bankai, if they just got him back one kill after the turtle fight, he might have go even against Wadu later down the line.
Yeah, it's been a consistent thing for Zone for the entirety of M7. Bankai's laning, Bankai's first or second turtle. Zone needs to help him out more. I think K and the gold lane is completely fine, but when it comes to the EXP lane, that's been the major pain point for Zone and what teams have now been looking at as the main weakness that they can focus on. And if Zone can't help their EXP laner, it's not going to be a good time for them.
Yeah, Bankai definitely struggled there. And it was very evident from the first turtle. And that's not how you want to see a Yu Zhong, because you would assume that a Yu Zhong in your team would almost guarantee you a first hurdle or two.
Yeah,
But that wasn't the case for this game in for Team Zone. But I guess it's a template they try to follow in terms of the draft, because I think for majority of their previous games it's always been Bright's hero prioritized for first two.
Mhm.
But that was the Gadot that we're talking about, and it's a bit different now.
It is a little bit different, but I guess it could come down to, is this really boiling down to experience? Because the only time I saw quote unquote experience really start to come through was at the very end with all the built up conditioning up until that point. The laning gaps were pretty obvious that it was going to happen. You could see the posturing happen from a mile away, and not to mention, it's not like Bright didn't know what was going on. He
Yeah.
actually spotted out a majority of the members before they even got to the dive.
Right? They had the vision, they had what they needed, but they just could not make it work. And when they don't make it work in the early game, then Wadu is happy. With the itemization, how fast he was able to get his queen swings, and of course Detective as well. Who, one thing that I wanted to say earlier, but a fight broke out, was that the rotations of Zone looked like it was so dependent on Zexora. They were looking at the Hayabusa that, okay, we can't do anything in the mid until our Hayabusa's here. While for CFU, you essentially had two roamers rotating.
Yeah.
It's Boxy going one way, it's Detective going another.
Yeah,
If Detective is here, Boxy's on another area getting vision and seeing who in the members of Team Zone are backing up and trying to defend the aggressive rotation from CFU. So it was a good juggle between the jungler and the roamer of CFU Gaming.
yeah. Hopefully, this isn't how, or this isn't a negative way to look at Zixora being the leader of the team, and I hope they get to address that moving forward, because we have Boxy as our MVP, who I think did a lot more than just those Way of the Dragon entries.
I think there's an argument that he probably should. They should ban it out. They should ban out this show. If not, take it for yourself, because he's doing so much for the team. He's making these amazing off-tempo plays, and I love off-tempo plays because he knows exactly the timing of, hey, if I do this right now, we get a non-contest for the turtle. If I do this now, we put Wadu in a much better position, and that's the beauty of it all. But I think it's time, boys and girls, let's look at the highlights and let's really break this down. Because as we see this game continue to progress, every single moment in this game is highly dependent on who gets those first initial kills, right? Let's pause right here at this initial turtle fight, because as we see the turtle fight about to progress, notice a couple of things. Number one, Bankai just hitting level 4, already going in with the Way of the Dragon. How would you attempt this fight? For majority of people, you're looking for people like OP, for an example, to make sure that Detective is taken out of this fight. Both of which are really good examples of how you should probably play this Yu Zhong in a very traditional sense. But notice the shape of the fight on the very first turtle. You know, if my little tools would just update real quick, I could show you exactly, because the north side of the turtle was probably going to be the worst part of this fight. Here is the kill zone for the side of Team Zone. Anything within this area of the map is within their portion of influence. On the opposite side, if, let's say, CFU just decided for, just for fun, to move up this way across the map and stick around their influence zone closer to their mid lane. Oh, whoops. I would say roughly about here, is probably their most ideal zone to fight their opponents. Why, you may ask? With broken walls, you notice that Opie, as you see later down into the fight, actually moves in that direction. As you see him move into that direction, you notice that the fight gets completely split in half, with the backline having no access whatsoever because of this play, stretching Team Zone apart. And that's the beauty of Yuzong, but also one of his biggest weaknesses. He's allowed to overextend and sustain if he sticks onto his target. If he doesn't stick onto his target, then he's basically left out to dry. And this repeats itself throughout the game, allowing Boxy to be able to find these incredible kicks time and time again, knowing that he won't get punished, or at the very bare minimum, he's going to get a Petrify, he is going to get a Flicker. Great game overall, a good show of experience and conditioning from the side of CFU, but I think for Team Zone, their biggest adjustment right now has to be the laning phase and first turtle.
Yeah, I'm also wondering where the info was that the Claude was gone, because Team Zone fought that as if no one called it that the Claude was on the way.
And they should have known, because they
Yeah.
saw him walk into the bush, so it's like, you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, and yeah, they had the Hylos there in the back, but it really feels like they just, I don't want to use the term disrespect, but for a moment they just forgot that the Claude was on the way, and it was the easiest blazing duet entry
Yeah.
for Sing to just break it apart.
Yeah, and it's a Claude. So I think more than anything, you have to remind themselves that it's a Claude who already, in terms of priorities in the draft, is already very much up there, which is why it's first pickable. A lot of times we see it there. So they just left it open, and more than leaving it open, they left him all alone throughout the game. I feel like they have been a bit too reactive towards the XP lane too, and maybe that's exactly what CFU wanted to happen.
I think that CFU understood two things. Number one, if we're going to fight Zone, we have to fight them on our own terms, right? Let's deny Zixora as many pickoffs, solos pickoffs as possible. Let's really focus on making sure that Kenny and Kay don't really get to maximize their damage, right? I think Kenny is the only exception to that damage rule because he does have Feathered Airstrike, but Kay especially, Zaman Force, what happens? Who gets involved? It's either Detective catches him or Boxy breaks his Purify, making him extremely nervous, because if he gets hit by any CC without his Purify, it's guaranteed death.
I wish we also saw Zone take a little bit more of an SRG versus Team Liquid route here, wherein instead of going up against Team Liquid in the major objective, they just decided, you know what, we're going to go for OHEM
Gold
instead.
lane.
Go for the gold lane instead. Your lineup that, yes, Zone has a case to say, we can fight and we should fight objectives because we have the Yuzong. That was good for the first turtle. But after the first turtle loss and the continuous losses of Bankai, you definitely should have swerved and just gone to the gold lane or just get wins elsewhere in the map instead of like brute forcing your way to trying to make a comeback through the
Yeah.
turtles alone.
Because even if you look at the heat map, Boxy rarely went to the gold lane. If
Yeah.
not, didn't go to the gold lane at all. Because it was Singh who was always going to the fights. He was the one joining the fights. So that's how you know that the gold laner of CFU was just a bit too free. And now whatever we mentioned about him and his presence not being felt as much here in M7, we didn't get to feel that in this game.
Well, I think that, especially for Boxy, his biggest priority is, yes, I'm looking to make plays, but it's always around the river. He's always looking, he's always posturing himself in the best place possible, and that's something that a lot of support players need to understand. It's not necessarily, I have to make the play, you just have to be at the right place and consider whether it's the right time.
Yeah, and that's another way to look at it. Maybe Zone could not get those guys into the gold lane because Boxy was just always in the river. He was always blocking off Bright. He was always blocking off Zexora. And at the end, Zone just had to try and hope they could find something through the center of the map or through the turtles. But with game number 1 done, it's time to thank some friends. Which one of you took my real me? Which one- which
You'll
one of-
never find it now. I've hidden the real me deep inside myself so that I can unleash the true power. Because again, today I'm feeling extra good. I feel like I've got clankers in my brain. I feel like I've got artificial intelligence behind my back.
Oh, is that the AI gaming coach that you're talking about?
You got that right, because that's the AI gaming coach for you. But it doesn't stop there. When the fight breaks out, its consecutive skill feature lets you unleash a perfect preset combo with just one tap. It guides your strategy and elevates your execution. That's a full AI-powered edge. From prediction to performance, it's the complete package. You play, we carry, Realme 15 Pro, the M7 official gaming phone.
Remind us to disinfect that once we get it out of here.
Yeah.
Because we will need to get it back.
You're not
know?
getting it back.
You can do it yourself, by the way.
Yeah, no, we can get someone else to do it.
Oh,
None of
let's
us-
just get someone else. to
It's
do
okay.
that.
Yeah,
Try and
someone
take it
else
away
do it.
from me. Make an attempt.
No.
Yeah, sure, no,
I'll
we're
just talk
okay.
about the M7 processor or
yes,
something,
please.
you know, because the M7 Pass went live last January 1, 2026. If you didn't know, packed with exclusive rewards like Granger's Thunder Ascendant Epic Skin, a Cosmic Finality Prime Skin, M7 figurine, battle effects, Prime Avatar Border, and more. Plus, my favorite, get Gato Catch a Solar Spark for free. That's the fan favorite M5 Yuzhong skins and revamped M Championship skins, which are also making a limited time return, by the way. So don't miss out on all the wonderful rewards and start grinding with the M7 Pass now.
Activities. We also have that in Mobile Legends Bang Bang, including MLBB Rising Open or MRO with Season 5 making a comeback. Still open to everyone, very flexible to join. Just with major upgrades as well. You can earn hero power from victories based on your weekly champion rank and team up with friends to form a 5-player team to compete. So rewards are stacked, you win or lose, you earn MRO coins to redeem permanent skins, exclusive avatar borders, and more. So climb the weekly championships to qualify for the championship, win bigger prizes, and keep the M7 passion alive. You can compete with your friends too.
Yeah.
Tell everyone that your friends are better than other friends.
Exactly. And
That's
it's
what
only-
life is all about.
Yeah, true. And it's also because you can technically, if you try and queue at the same time, if you just line it up correctly, you might meet them later down in the bracket. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's a lot of championships. I just gotta say.
I know you have like frequent 5-man teams going, whether it's with your friends.
Which are you gonna ask me
Or-
which are my better friends?
Yeah. Who do you prefer to play with? The people in your age group or the members of Team Liquid?
Oh, I
I don't know. That's kind of a.
Yeah.
Isn't Liquid like kinda the overlap there? They're technically around that age.
I don't want to accidentally age reveal
I have an answer.
Mitch and Tic Tac right now.
No.
I don't want to do that to them.
It's okay. We just say that I'd rather play with Liquid's ancient treasures.
They're called the Ancient Treasures, Mitch and Tic Tac.
Oh, he took off his headset. What? Hello?
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Ancient Treasures.
No, 'cause
dear
they have-
Lord.
They have loads of experience, you know?
Yes.
Experience in the game and in life.
Yeah, man. TikTok is like Noah's Ark. He's just gonna carry everybody on that boat when the world's literally drowning around him. Gosh. That's the first time I've ever heard of it. I'm sorry. Woo! All right.
It's okay.
Shall we drop a little bit more tidbits of information? We'll who are Tic Tac's two main heroes, Coach Tic Tac's two main heroes.
That would be the Chang'e and the Cyclops SpongeBob skin.
Why?
Specifically this SpongeBob
Specifically
skin.
the SpongeBob skin.
I hope somewhere Tic Tac isn't seething. It's like they revealed my main heroes.
How could you, especially when the map reveal is dangerous grass?
Oh.
So, oh wait, we're going into dangerous grass. So now we have to watch out for heroes such as Hilda, potentially Khalid with a lot of entry points that he could just, with how fast he gets around the map, him plus dangerous grass is just not a good equation. You don't want to go up against that. So so far CFU have kept it to very similar bans, no side switches. Brock, Juicin, Kalea still okay, but I feel like if I'm Team Zone, pick up the Cho if it's available.
No, they have to go for Claw.
No, I mean like if Zone red side,
Oh, if
they
Zone
pick up
red side.
Cho instead of the high loss.
Oh, got you. That makes a lot more sense here. And it also kind of puts Claude in an awkward spot where it's like, man, I have to take the, oh goodness, Purify.
Because I was like thinking, yeah, there's a Cho, there's a Hilda, there's everything. But knowing that there's a potential Fredrin, I get it, but it didn't even help as much in game number 1.
I think this is one of those angles where you might have. Well, I like how else could they have changed this draft, right? Are they just not very confident that Bankai can get away with the Yuzong? And they change it into carry as well? I guess they know that at least it could deny and maybe turn CFU into an assassin v assassin matchup. Like, what is the gamble here? I don't see the payoff just yet.
I don't either.
Look,
I'm quite unhappy about these decisions by Zone because I do want to see a game number 3 here. They could have gone Cho. They didn't need to rush into carry. The only payoff I'm looking for now is we get double horses. We get high loss, we get
Leo.
Leomord. Just pick up Leo more than red 3, then we can call it a day. I'm fine. I'm happy. That's the payoff you're looking for. You adjust Bankai's pick. You adjust Kenny's pick in the mid. Just pick up the Leo more.
Yeah, but then CFU, they still have access to the Cho, or if they wanted to even take away the Yuzhong or stick with the Lapu Lapu, then that's gonna make things a lot more difficult for
It's
Ozzy.
so easy. It's so sensible. It's really sensible to go for Yuzong here, but it also opens up an actual pretty honest approach for K, right? Because now Winds of Nature has a lot of value because you're not only worried about the clock, you're also worried about melting away from this Yuzong. Lapu Lapu from the side of Kenny. Well, let's see what that magic 4th pick is gonna be.
Mr. Bankai, you gotta show up here. Earlier, you lost the matchup with a Yuzong up against a Lapu. Now you have to win this matchup while you're using Lapu against a Yuzong. Because if that doesn't happen, then that means Wadu has Bankai's name
I am
tattooed on him.
I'm just probably gonna wish it's not another Farsa for.
I don't think he's gonna get his hands on it, to be perfectly fair. I feel like they want CF to pick it up. And there we go, the Leo Moore ban. Very respectable, very respectable. Good pick coming in from CFU and Coach.
Ah,
That's what I like.
they had to carry though, but yeah.
What? Yeah. But why?
And
If ever they could have picked up like a Kimmy if they wanted to do.
That's what I was thinking as
problems,
well.
yeah.
I was thinking that like they either pick up Fredrin here for 3rd, and then maybe consider an Arlet for 4th.
Maybe just required so much respect. Fan out the Frederick.
I don't know.
Even though Zone could have gotten all of the heroes to mess up that Frederick, they saw Detective and said no.
Nah.
Drafts alone cannot beat Detective. We have to just take it away from him.
Yeah, Detective was
Time to drop
so
the beat of the
influential.
Yeah, this is pure cope right now.
Okay, I
Actually trying to cope.
think that I'm trying to get into the head of C1, right? What was the biggest problem in the game in terms of just, trying to be empathetic? Number one, yes, the EXP lane didn't do too well, but considering that they were working off of the rotations of Zexora, I think right now their biggest issue is I could not contest it, right? Every single neutral objective was already a non-contest, or I lost the red tree fight because of his taunt. So I think now that they're taking it away to make it more of a 50-50, but CFU, they see it. They're getting rid of the Joyce. They're getting rid of the Leomords. Put him on Lance.
I don't think we're gonna get a Hayabusa pick here, right?
For sure.
If ever the last one available is Nolan, if they want the burst,
Uh,
CFU,
huh.
or they can go Guinevere.
I think... Ooh, this one's a tough one. This one's a tough one because it kind of depends on what mid laner they want. Okay, yeah, maybe they'll go for Guinevere now. Yeah,
Yep.
there we go. Because Guinevere only makes sense if you're pairing it up with Farsa, but knowing that you have Lapu on the other side is kind of the toss-up of like, do I want to deal with this 2 for a potential 1 for 2, or do I just want to say, you know what, Farsa, just take a Purify and call it a day?
Yeah. So now all that's left is the EXP lane hero. Or no,
Mid.
it's the mid lane hero.
I wouldn't want to get me here.
Shushin.
Not those Lamtusians banned too.
Oh, man.
Use the Lunox, but like, how are you gonna play that here?
Not Zetkian with high loss. It's not. It doesn't hit the second show. Would.
Is it time we see the?
Got another Lunox, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Just straight up, just if you want to be hyper, they just play Lunox, right?
Yeah.
Kadena, they're willing to take the risk. But this also goes to show, right? Because if you had Lunox, you don't necessarily have to play around like neutral objectives. With Kadena, you kind of want to hover around the area to eventually, heat-seeking missile somebody, take them out of the picture, and turn it into a 4v5.
Still, CFU ended up walking away with an easier to pull off lineup.
Yes.
But with every Kadeta game, there's always that possibility of them carrying very early all the way until the end.
For some reason, Coach Summer was smiling as he walked down the stage.
Oh, was he happy about it? Is this expected?
Maybe he had like an innocent moment where one of his players is like, "Sir, give them chill." 100%, coach.
As if the other way around, instead going, Coach, give me Roger. Say, Coach, give them Joe.
Give them chill. 100%.
Give them Joe, we win. Give them Joe, we win. Maybe. What if?
We'll never know.
But we look for the answer in game. What if this Kadeta pick is a secret weapon for them. If it's a comfort for
Welcome
Kenny
to
and he
Mobile
knows how to read the
Legends.
map so well and take down CFU before the Sharks can even get off and swimming early on. Zone at the brink, CFU at match point.
I really feel like Boxy is playing at the top of his game right now. He's making so minimal mistakes overall. And look at that. They've already won the mid-trade easily, right? He's going to try and just heal up as much as he can. And Bankai, you got to learn these lanes, dude. You cannot be walking up like this.
That's a flicker already forced out, and
And
Opie
out.
with the quick rotations towards the top lane. A petrified play, and Opie takes first blood while Boxy manages everything all by himself here in the Riverside. Luckily, Team Zone still got the Lith Wanderer, because if they didn't, that would have been crazy.
I mean, Zixora will be a little angry, a little angy, as some people like to call it. But so far, it's been really good for Zixora, right? He's got the mechanics. He's making it work.
Yeah. And this is probably a much better situation for them, though they're managing things, even though they're getting invaded constantly. But that's a two-man petrified, and potentially a double kill for Zixora. But Kenny picks it up instead, and there goes his first kill, but it'll be immediately punished by Detective on the Guinevere.
Hello? Hello? Is nobody talking to each other? Why is nobody talking to each other? Because again the level 1 gank on the top side could have been avoided entirely because Kenny was already covering the opposite side. So it's safe to say there's a chance you need to play safe and you just took a bad trade. Secondly, how does he get there, right? Without no punishment whatsoever.
Oh no, Detective now all alone. But then Wadu and Boxy will somehow be able to follow up. That's a kill going over to Wadu. And Zixora is still taking his orange.
I'm surprised that Wadu didn't keep fighting Zixora just for fun.
Yeah. He could have afforded to take him out, but I think now they're looking for Bankai. Oh no!
Oh!
Coming in just at the right time.
Exactly what we were saying earlier. CFU knows.
They
Just
know.
look at the EXP lane and continue pressuring that. The Lapu Lapu is no longer in the game.
It's non-existent, and Wadu, he's gonna have the time of his life. Literally nobody can really stop him other than maybe Kenny, who can buy some time. And Bright,
Wait,
oh,
do it.
okay.
Not the least bit scared of Zixora.
Seeing is like, I do not want to lose more life than this. I am willing to get the shield off the Blazing Duet.
Oh, Boxy and Opie once again. Look at this mid duo of CFU Gaming. They're doing
Hello?
so much by themselves. They spots Kenny though, so he cancels the better airstrike. Boxy already quite low, doesn't have anywhere to run through. Uses the way of the dragon, gets a shield from the turtle, but that'll not help him for long.
Oh, CFU Gaming got the turtle in the end.
So many things happening. in this game.
I am in the same boat as you, Regina. I think that was all on Boxy. He had ult the entire time. He just needed to kick somebody. And Opie is like, come on, dude. Bro, kick somebody. I'm holding the feathered airstrike for you.
Well, at least they got the turtle.
Yeah, they got the turtle. They can revive that. It's fine. At the end, a win is a win. As we saw though through the hand cam. Boxy no longer has the way of the dragon, committed that very late into the fight. We'll have this flicker up available. Oh, another one.
But Wadu spots Kenny.
Wadu, bro.
He has no reason to stay in his lane anymore. Boxy, oh my
There's a
goodness,
kid.
finding Zixora. Bright will be there using the Glorious Pathway to help his teammates. Boxy flickering out and going back in with the Jeet Kondo. Does he have what it takes to find the kill? Still doesn't, but will Wadu do it for him? Another shield from Boxy and he's still alive while Wadu tries to fight the other members who are left. They don't get kills, but that was a lot of time bought.
One trick Joe's across the world just screaming. He's freestyling on him. He's doing skateboard tricks in the middle of the fight.
That's why that man was the MVP in game number 1. Here, game number 2, a little bit harder to read, but definitely still in form is Boxy.
Yeah.
Legendary Cambodian figure in the space, and this is his signature hero.
So nasty. So very nasty. We look at the item builds. Nothing too out of the ordinary. No first items complete besides the glowing wand. And that's only for Opie. But even so, he's still down by 95 gold.
Okay, this is... Bro, I know you have Purify, but chill.
Oh wait, Kenny, this might be his moment. Ah no, he spawns Boxy and doesn't even want to try anymore.
I ain't messing with this guy. He's gonna use me like a half pipe. I gotta stay alive.
2-level gap between the Yuzong and the Lapu Lapu. Bankai just get an Earth Shatter in. Or a land shaker or shatters Edith.
I'd be
Get a land shaker in and you're good, man. You've done your job.
I'd be so annoyed if I was Xora. I see Boxy again.
Yeah.
I always see Boxy. He never gets out of sight. Oh, oh, oh. Ah, that did not connect.
I can. Oh, wait.
Okay. Oh, Detective jumping on Kenny instead. Will he have the damage? Yes, he does. One man down for Team Zone. Now it's Wadu trying to zone. Bright, can he tank this? Maybe not anymore. Xora 2 will not contest. That's just too much from CFU. And I guess on top of those failed attempts that we saw from Team Zone.
Dude, K is playing a dangerous game here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Boxy is going to come in for... There we go. There he is. Here's the dive.
Oh, the big man! But he still lands the way of the dragon, and Singh takes the kill.
Oh.
In exchange of Boxy, though.
I think K was exactly where he was so that a tower hit would be able to take Boxy out of the way out. Kenny, oh!
No, that's so unfortunate if you're Kenny. Even though you just badly want to take out OP, he's too alert.
He's way too alert. Really good calls across the board for the side of CFU. This game is falling into their hands. It's folding like origami. It feels like all the edges were creased just for these moments. And yet, we still have a majority of the tier 1 still available for CFU to break. In comparison to Team Zone, at this point, just a missing T1 on that bot side, but no structural damage.
Oh.
It's just perfect. Everything CFU Gaming are doing right now is perfect. They know they have the advantage in both lanes. They know that the rotations of Team Zone are just being read by Boxy. They have all the information to work with, and they're executing. That play between OP and Detective to take down Kenny was just a perfect snapshot of what's going on right now here.
Just this mistake. We all know that DHS is
Ooh,
oh,
my
God.
goodness, that was a 2-man. Fortunately, K had the Purify, but nonetheless, Detective, look at him, is still running away, but not for long.
Okay.
They get caught by the breath of the ocean, but the Petrifying
No.
from Wadu and the Blazing Duet. Massive AoE spells coming into play. CFU taking down 3 members while Boxy still chases after Bankai. Uses the way of the dragon, but he does not get to finish the kill.
Yeah, no flicker to chase it even further. And I mean, K, how? That corrosive side, he's starting to regret it now.
What? Xora trying to fight this. Still gets to puncture himself to safety, but that was a close call because OP was there as well.
OP isn't even completely flying away.
Nice.
He flies away, stops, stares at them, and then decides to fly away.
Was that a shot?
Boxy. Yep, that was just... This is... What we're seeing right now is experience. It's the experience gap between CFU and Zone with how long the members of CFU Gaming have been playing together and how long they've been doing this as individuals, competing in 9 seasons of MPL Cambodia.
Oh, don't tell me Singh can actually outplay this. He can't.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't die, and that's the most important part. And now it's just going to be an easy
Am I?
follow-up.
Now he will.
Bang.
With the help of OP.
What
And
a-
even down bottom, Bankai. What can he do? Using the bravest fighter, he's up against Wadu and Boxy. With the help of Xora, they don't fully commit though.
This is not looking good. Oh,
Kenny?
Okay, he lands the Petrify.
second half.
Oh, even the Rough Waves already committed, but look at he
got
finds
it?
the kill on him. But, oh my goodness, Detective.
Yeah.
Where was he a few seconds ago?
Yeah, where was I mean, it would have been nice if he was there, but a lot of motions happened across the map. I'm surprised that K ended up winning his 1v1. And I'm going to take a wild guess. It's because he has warrior boots, right? If I can't really see it from this far. Warrior boots, right? Okay. 2-level difference. Warrior boot diff. And no DHS.
Yeah, no dangers. That he's just up to a golden staff. So maybe a bit of a warning shot, but it was an isolated case. In full-on 5v5, you clearly still see the difficulties of Team Zone. In terms of the comeback potential, it has to be through punish, through a counterplay. Maybe through this?
Right, already using the stun.
Detective,
Okay,
wow.
though, has so much free hits. Kenny does not get to land a combo, however, and now Xora falls next. Wadu zoning out so many members. Detective jumping in. But Team Zone, they don't want to fight anymore.
Oh man, Wadu's got to be a little bit upset with that because again, after taking out Xorn as well as Kenny, all he needed to do was take out K, and they can pretty much do whatever they want to the rest of the map. Fortunately, K walks away with just a sliver of health, didn't connect on the Furious dive, and used the Petrify early to try and set up.
Ouch.
Yeah. At this point, Obi can just throw his feathered airstrike like that. He's been doing that for majority of the game, pretty much.
Yep.
Moment he got his feathered airstrike, the downtime on him not using it, I think has been significant. He just always uses it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
No, he has
I
to-
forgot words, but yeah, he's always using it, man.
Oh my goodness, Boxy has an immortality now too. So
Wow. Yeah, watch this. Once that green dot is up with that parcel, he'll use it again.
oh, but
See?
there's like still committed. Rough waves doesn't burst down anyone. Wadu now finding Zixora and Kenny, and now they still want to go for it. Sing's here, so he'll be joining the fight. Blazing to it, already committed. Kay trying to take him down, but Wadu just in time. Will it be
Oh.
enough? Oh my goodness, Team Zone might have just found an opening.
They peeled to victory, cut the skin off a CFU game, and then finally the raw flesh stings as CFU now dropping by 500 gold. They still maintain their 4.7k, but with the Lord up and knowing that Team Zone can actually fight, this is going to be a lot harder.
Quite a visceral description, but no other way to put it. I expected Kate to fall down, but he stood strong.
Yep.
More like that, please. Because CFU Gaming overheated.
Okay, now Bright's making a call. Oh, the jump doesn't land. Detective misses. Now Zixora's here to contest for the objective, but still Detective wins out the retry battle. Sing 2 with an immense amount of damage as the Claude is able to finish off 2. And Team Zone's attempt will not be enough.
They have to cut their losses.
Yeah.
When we are going for a potential Lord steal, and you know it's difficult, really just communicate with your team. Hey,
Yeah.
if you can get this stun out of the way, I can attempt to steal, but you have to back away. Because I'm going to die no matter what. If I can steal, I buy us 5 minutes. If I don't get the steal, fine. At least you still play 4v5 on the defense.
Yeah, plus K wasn't there. If they're going to go for a heavier contest, at least tell your carry, please be there with us. But then K had to go elsewhere. And it seemed like they didn't expect that they go on for that full fight like that. Now with Detective having a chastised Pauldron, the effects of this carry are going to be negated. There's a Divine Glaive on OP as well. Look at that damage.
Okay, be careful of Boxy. There goes the Lord jumping into the bottom lane. Black Dragon form, Bravest Fighter 2, both XP laners trying to look for an engage. But Sing, all he wants is the turret. Wadu going in, Petrify Blaze!
No.
And another blazing duet from Sing! Currently on a killing spree. 3 members of Team Zone still remain. And CFU will respect.
Can we talk about Kenny's damage? That was like a surprising amount of damage to the backline. A majority of it being him, but this feathered airstrike causing way too many problems.
The Divine Glaive came in just in time. Bankai really low.
Forced to use the Bravest Fighter. K2 doing a great job at defending one.
Whoa, okay.
Was there an argument to commit to that? I was thinking
Yeah.
about it. Like, technically, he could have BMI'd like forward to get a couple of extra autos to maybe dodge the potential waves,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's worth risking.
Yeah, and he didn't have a Winter Crown. It's a Wind of Nature that Sing has right now.
Ah.
I think he's also looking towards the burst. Definitely, we have to see him juggle that around. Let's go back to the instant replay. So yeah, this was already after the Divine Glaive damage. Sing able to free hit, Black Dragon form up. Watch Detective, waiting for the time to pounce. Great Petrify.
When does Kenny get it? Ah, there we go. Also, we get immediately on top of the Farsa as soon as the second feather airstrike comes.
Uh-oh.
Ground, wow.
Third round from Detective, but that's a guaranteed kill for Team Zone. And now Kenny, he finds Wadu, forces out the Black Dragon form, and it seems like CFU still want to fight. Boxy finding K, and now they're all on to him, but he has the Wind of Nature. Singzo with the right amount of damage will still get the job done. And now it's a mega kill for him as he also finds Sora. Right now trying to run away, but look at Sing. No one's
Minions.
stopping Sing, and there are minions in the middle lane that Bankai and Kenny have to defend.
A good attempt by Detective. Yes, he didn't get the Violent Requiem, but he set up and baited the rest of Team Zone.
Okay, there's the Black Bravest Fighter.
Ooh.
Oh, but the BMI is just used to reposition out, but the Land Shaker stuns him and he gets shut down. Oh my goodness, Kenny and Bankai, they're still able to prolong this game.
Boxy.
Another way of the
Wow.
dragon, and the damage from Wadu can do it.
Zora's coming back up in 1 second. K is back after topping up, nearly losing their base here. A dangerous moment, a scary sight for Team Zone now that CFU is on match point, but the game-ending play has to come off of this Lord.
You have to try. Clear up as many minions as you can and just try and contest. Hope to see if you gaming slip up somewhere. You have the damage with you. You have your Kanata. You have the carry. It's on point. If you can just stop Boxy somehow, if you can get to OP, are they gonna go for the rush? No one marked Wadu. They see a detective.
Wadu now using the Black Dragon form. He tries to stun K, but gets to walk away. And now it's a 1v1. K has a decent amount of damage. And now Zexora is actually able to steal away the objective. They're still on to K, but they're trying so hard. K, up until the very last moment, he fought away of the dragon from Boxy. And they find Bankai, but they lose the Lord.
Oh dear God, Wadu. They tried. They tried real hard, and now they've got a huge wave down on bot side as they escort their way to the inhibitor.
Oh, Zexora forces out the Winter Crown from OP.
Hold.
That could mean a lot for them, but another Petrify from Wadu. Fortunately, Bright has her.
Oh!
Shut down on Wadu by Zexora, but they will not let the Lord push any further.
CX Sora has put the team on his back and says, we can still do this. I will carry you guys forward. He got the Lord. He got some kills. And Team Zone are still in this. And with this gold lead now diminished, Zone has a chance to crawl back, but it will be a tough climb.
Look at the items though. Sora not even bothering with the Hunter Strike. He's focusing on everything else, and now only as his last item, he's been given a lot of resources. The rest of his team has been paying the price for that. K especially in these later team fights. But at the same time, at least Bankai has kind of redeemed himself, not only taking out Sing earlier, but allowing for Zexora to actually go for the steal in the first place.
Oh, they know where everyone is. They use
Bankai!
and they push forward. OP using the Victor position, but now he has to use the Wing Body Wings just to get away. Detective is now down. Wadu trying to make things happen on 3 members towards the back line. Kenny already committing his full combo, but they don't get to take anyone down. Now it's CFU on the chase. They still want more.
Zexora went down quick. Team Zone have to back off a little bit. Feathered Airstrike committed. Wadu with the dive. Bankai's still here, but he needs to get out.
Oh my goodness.
This is a nothing fight. This is a nothing fight. Both. There is literally no objective to fight for. This is just looking for opportunities. It's risky for Team Zone, which is why it's good that they actually backed out. Trading 1-for-1 against Detective is actually the perfect scenario for Team Zone. Every time Detective goes down, I don't think CFU is going to be looking to actually contest, even if the Lord is going to be up. They're going to posture for it, but they're never going to fully commit to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how Detective and Zexora went down quickly. I know Detective was one of the first few that got caught. Zexora went in. He got kicked by Boxy. That's why.
Yup. And then it all starts spiraling out of control. Because as you see these fights, right, I think for initiations, it works well for Team Zone to initiate in these tighter corners compared to CFU. However, I do think that Team Zone need to kind of kite backwards into open area to give Kenny that opportunity if he doesn't find the initial target he's looking for.
Yeah, because at this point, I would understand why OP would be a bit more reactive whenever he sees Kenny. Because there will be enough damage that will come from that full combo already. And he cannot get hit by the Petrify. So that was a quick response with the flicker, but that put him in an awkward position to use the better airstrike. And that's why also maybe Team Zone got a better advantage in that team fight. But now it's Bankai jumping in, forces out the spatial migration. But now they're going to go for the re-engage. Boxy trying to look for an angle as well, but all they see as of now is Bright. Are they actually going to full commit on this? Is this the right decision? Because Kenny finds Detective, but another spatial migration doesn't connect. But in the mid lane, it's Sing and Boxy pushing forward, but Sing gets blasted!
Team Zone are still in this one. Who falls down? Boxy falls down. 3 from CFU are gone.
What is this? Games of the future? We watching Vamos V versus DFYG. What's going on here? Why are you fighting before the Lord? You knew the Lord was coming up. You forced the fight after the Black Dragon form. You didn't need the Black Dragon form.
Oh, they're bursting down Bankai. Bankai going in.
Yup.
He's fighting OP. A glorious battle to slow him down. The spatial migration doesn't come up in time. Bankai finds the kill on OP, and Team Zone have the Lord.
Who did it? Who? Something has changed, and it's not good. This is not good behavior from CFU. They broke discipline, they overheated, and now they're on the cusp of losing this game because of that.
They played with their food, man. There were times where CFU Gaming, if they just took the more disciplined, steady approach, we go back to that little exchange, topside, by the Lord, by the orange buff, where it felt like Team Zone definitely should not have won that, but found wins, and little by little, it has grown to this. the Lord on their side, the lead in their hands, and a potential game 3 on the way.
Ooh,
I've dogged on him for quite some time, but I'm gonna give it up to Bankai. He woke up
okay.
this game, making the most out of the land shakers. He's landed around 4 or 5 that have been big impact.
Yep.
Best part about it is that he's redeemed himself from the worst laning phase ever seen to now
Yeah.
making his team buy time.
Oh.
5 minutes each and every time they take away a Lord. Well, arguably, I would say it's like 3 something
Yeah.
and round it up to 4, but generally speaking, you still have to acquaint for travel time. But at the end of the day, now Opie is like, he has enough damage to take me out. I must be aware of this. I cannot lose these resources, and I don't think that they're thinking far enough ahead.
All that in a single game, losing the laning phase and suddenly being the guy who just keeps the team in the game.
It's unreal. It's unreal how this is.
It took us more than 15 minutes, but we're really seeing a lot of the strengths, like, to be fair to the lineup of Zone. Earlier, the Lapu-Lapu versus Yuzong matchup went much better for Wadu. Wadu controlled majority of the game. He's 11-3-5 right now.
Yep.
Still has a great KDA, but now we're starting to see the strengths of the Lapu-Lapu, though I wish I'd see a Queen Swings in there somewhere. He
'Cause-
went for the Hunter Strike War Axe instead.
So I don't want to think that it's CFU falling off because they have a Claude.
Yeah.
So it's like,
They're getting red. There's something about the high loss and the Kadita together that's throwing them off. It's the Petrify from the Kadita, along with the Breath of the Ocean, the stun as well coming in from the high loss.
because even the spatial migrations aren't landing anymore.
Yeah. All right, pick or pass. Which hero will secure a game win first? Guinevere
Oh,
is here.
wow.
No wins yet in the M7 Swiss stage, and it's in the hands of Detective. But Dang also winless.
I think Guinevere is more likely to get the win because Badang doesn't see enough play in general, but we see more Guinevere just in general overall. And considering that Fredrins are popping up more often, it makes a little more sense.
But that Guinevere in this game is starting to become weird. Like,
I mean, to be fair, like I understand that it's pretty difficult to land the magic thumb consistently every
Yeah,
single
it is,
time,
it is.
right?
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. My biggest problem is what are they doing? Did Wadu mess with somebody this morning and they're like, oh wow, Wadu's doing a little too well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal his MVP. We need to drag this out. Because there is no explanation as to why he is so far ahead of the game and yet the game is dragged on for 20 full minutes. Right?
Yep.
Like, yes, Boxy isn't making as many impact plays. Wait, is that a fight happening?
oh, that's the Lord already approaching the base of CFU Gaming. Sing's able to deal with it though.
The state of both bases looks similar.
Yeah.
One tower apiece.
Okay. Careful of Kenny. Careful of Kenny. He's waiting for the right timing.
Yeah.
Now that's a Black Dragon farm already committed. Detective once again doesn't get to find Kenny with the spatial migration. Bankai jumping in, trying to look for Opie. Now Kenny, he finds someone, but there's a winter crowd, so Detective stays alive. Now they're just trying to work on Bankai as much as they can. That's the spatial
Oh,
migration
the
connection. So will the
Oh!
Sing with the blazing duet. Can he do any more than this? Because it seems like Team Zone have found the right openings. Now they gain access to the base. They aren't able to complete the gear on the wave. But he gets bursted down by the Feathered Airstrike.
K was too eager to end it. He was locked in. But Obi got his ultimate back in time. And just like that, the tide swings after a beautiful combo with the Land Shaker and Breath of the Ocean from the Lapu-Lapu and Kadita. CFU holds on through Obi.
Oh man, that was so funny. Oh my goodness, I've never seen somebody just overheat so hard where the 4 members of your team is like, what are you doing, Kay? He's
I
just-
can end this.
He's screaming to end it while the rest of his teammates are like, bro, Feathered Airstrike is coming up in 2 seconds, my guy.
If he was right behind the formation of Zone, that would have been perfect. But he decides to separate off, and now he's boxing with a kick.
Oh, and they want to commit on Bright. Bright, who still has the immortality, but now it gets popped. And with the blazing duet, he
Oh,
finally
no.
goes down. There is no high loss, no glorious pathway whatsoever for Team Zone right now.
Okay.
Kenny! But the Winter Crown keeps Opie alive! Now Wadu's the one doing all of the zoning once again. Is saying already forced to use the Wind of Nature, but they have an advantage. They want to burst found this Lord.
So cannot get close enough. CFU Gaming will be able to cap it off. OP goes back to clear the minion waves. No minion wave in mid for Zixora and K to push through. And our Team Zone will have to try and defend again. They've been able to do it and extend it to almost 23 minutes for this game. But can they do it again one more time?
I mean, it's going to be really difficult because this is an evolved Lord, right? If they just walk with it, they get damage reduction naturally. Oh, really thought that the Lord was going to start walking towards that top side. Never mind. Coming through that mid side is even better because
Ooh.
it's a straightforward path. Are they?
Oh! They still find Zixora in the predictions from the two! Boxy denies him of the escape! And now Zixora's gone!
Zixora gets zoned and boxed out. And now the captain, the main man for the team, is not here for the defense. 5v4, the hope of Mongolia on their shoulders.
They spot Kenny from the right side. Glorious pathway laid out just to prolong the siege. Another attempt at the blazing do it, and the Fenrir strike making it in time. There goes the rough waves, but everyone is somehow still alive. Immortality getting popped everywhere. Spatial migration, and it seems like that's it.
Team Zone, thank you for your effort, but CFU Gaming marches forward with a sweep.
What a game. What a game. The overheats from either side costed them so much. And even at the very end, the culmination of all their hard work and effort really came to light. It's just the Lord that made all the difference. There was one hell of a good reason for Zone to actually win that fight if it wasn't for the Lord.
And the adjustments all throughout that 23-minute game. The Winter Crown made such a big difference because then it wasn't always the flicker that had to be burned just to be safe from Kenny. And all the small decisions we saw, I am still not over that play that Boxy did before they ended the game. That prediction on the puncture.
Yeah.
Or was it the Phantom Execution?
Phantom
even?
X, it was Phantom
So it was
X.
the Phantom Execution, and he landed the knockup at the exact time.
Yeah. The craziest part about that play was the fact that he identified in a split second, hey, Zixora missed his puncture. He has to ult, and he is stuck at a fixed distance, and he cannot create any more afterwards.
It was a great effort by Team Zone. Unfortunately, their M series run ends here. They made us all believe for just a moment. It's a tough walk down, but I hope they are proud of what they were able to do this M7. No one expected them to get out of wildcard, or not a lot of people did. I'll have to correct myself with that statement. And we all thought we'd go to game 3. But at the end, it's the veterancy, the experience of CFU that holds on. I hope we get to see more of Zixora and Zone in future international tournaments. But now it is the moment of CFU. They are on stage with Rose, and we will hear from them in just a bit.
Oh, remember this team here. Remember these names from Mongolia. They didn't ask for anybody to help them. They did it themselves. They put sacrifice on the line for a title that they could only dream of, and the rest followed after. A beautiful game, a beautiful attempt from Mongolian as a region here in the MLBB ecosystem.
What's heartbreaking about watching this is, imagine if Zixora was able to complete the TP.
Yeah.
If he was able to complete the recall, they would have had the damage. This would have been a chain of Phantom Execution and Thorned Roses punctures. And Zone might have been able to completely turn it around with a one-way through mid, but they just lacked the damage.
Everyone at that point was already so low.
Yeah.
The mortalities were down, and they just needed a finisher to clean up.
Oh, what ifs. So many what ifs for these two. But the sure thing is, it is CFU Gaming's time to shine. They survived, and they continue to fight on in Swiss. Congratulations to CFU.
The young team led by ZXORA may have been eliminated, but their sacrifices to make history for Mongolia will never ever be forgotten. Team Zone, we hope to see you guys again next year. And the team that makes it out of another do or die situation, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for CFU Gaming! With me here on stage, we have Wadu and Boxy. Boys, congratulations. Oh my, that game 2 was a very intense one. How are you feeling, Boxy?
នៅក្នុង game 2 មិញវា game រៀងតន្តែងដែរមានអារម្មណ៍មិនដែរ Boxy
អារម្មណ៍ early សប្បាយដល់ពេល late game រំធត់
he feel happy but like in the late game he feel like frightening he fear like might get a loss.
He was a bit afraid, and I understand why. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about what happened, because you guys had a few days of break, and we could see that in game 1, you guys came rather prepared. But what happened in game 2 that led to an almost comeback?
និយាយទៅយើងបាន break រយៈពេល 2 ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងហើយយើងបាន training អញ្ចឹងតើនៅក្នុង game 2 មិញមិនដែរបានវាធ្វើឲ្យវាមានអត់សូវវាដាក់ដុកណា
ថា game 2 យើងមាន mistake មួយកន្លែងអញ្ចឹងគេមានលុយគេអាច comeback វិញបាន
okay so they create some mistake during game 2 and luckily they come back.
Yeah, that was a very intense game too. We didn't even know if we were going to enter a 1-1 situation or we could wrap it up with a 2-0. And of course, for the side of Wadu, which aspect do you think that CFU Gaming has definitely improved on after these past few days at the M7 World Championship?
Okay, ចឹងសម្រាប់ Badu វិញតើ Badu គិតមិនដែរទៅលើ CFU ទៅតើចំណុចណាដែល CFU improve នៅរយៈពេល 2 ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងចឹង
សម្រាប់ខ្ញុំចំណុចដែល pro ហ្នឹងយើងពេលយើងចាញ់គេនៅ first match ហើយធ្វើឲ្យគ្នាយើង ខំប្រឹងលេងខ្លាំងជាងមុនទៀតចឹងទៅពួកយើងរៀងសេះរៀងនេះលេងមួយអីចឹងបង Okay, patient ចា
Okay, so after they lost like in the first round, they try to concentrate back and play less aggressive and try to read the game and play to win.
Play to win, and reading the game is definitely important. I'm pretty sure discipline and all these kind of aspects goes a long way. Now, Boxy, the journey might have been slightly different, but if we look back, you guys are in the same position as you guys were in last year. This time around, how confident are you that you guys will be able to make it to the knockout stages?
សម្រាប់ Boxy តនៅក្នុងលើកនេះតើមាន confident បានភាគរយនៅឡើងទៅអ្នកវគ្គ knock off
ដល់ confident នៅឡើងវគ្គ play off 100%បងយើងហៅខ្លួនឯងឃើញ
he confident 100%.
100% confidence. I really like that. But for us to be 100% confident, it means everything has to be a perfecto in our team. So Wadu, what do you think you guys have to work on more in order to actually get that knockout slot?
អ្នកបាត់ឌូតតើយើងត្រូវធ្វើមិនខ្លះដើម្បីឡើងទៅកាន់វគ្គ knock off ចា
សម្រាប់ខ្ញុំមានថាខំប្រឹងឲ្យខ្លាំង trend ខ្លាំងជាងនឹងទៀត
For me I think I will try harder to get to the knock off.
Yes, there will be another match for CFU Gaming tomorrow, and that will be another do or die situation. Wadu, a message to your fans?
វាមកឌូមានអីចង់និយាយទៅកាន់ fan នេះ
សម្រាប់ខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណទៅ fan ទាំងអស់គ្នាដែលជួយគាំទ្រពួកយើងកន្លងមកហើយសូមឲ្យជួយលើកទឹកចិត្តពួកយើងបន្តទៀត
Okay, thank you for all the fans that are supporting us and please keep continue to supporting us.
Thank you very much to CFU Gaming, and once again, congratulations on making it out of this elimination match. And with that, let us show it back to the panel to break down what happened in this amazing first series of the day.
Someone on the desk finds Wadu cute. Who actually does will shock you, but we're not going to reveal it. Let's put it up in the air. Is it me? Is it Gideon? Is it Brigida? Who knows? You're never going to get the answer. With that performance, was the furthest thing from cute. The man was a monster in the game. 11, 12, 4, and 8
Mhm.
on the Yu Zhang to end it, bro.
Yep. Really, honestly, I can't believe they're like, try harder?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? This guy's
was-
trying the hardest, apparently.
Yeah, that dude was like almost peak. It was just waiting and said, guys, you guys want in on this?
Ah,
Oh
it's-
my God. I doubt we'll see this again, ever again, though.
Yeah.
Again, ever again, ever.
Yes, notorious troll players will immediately get kicked out because this is just too much to handle. The pressure we saw in game number 1 and just the raw dominance in game number 2 where people are just nervous around him.
We gotta believe Gideon when he says that his Tro is on a different level today.
Mhm.
Possibly even for the entirety of the tournament. Because I recall it didn't start as well for Atro, but Boxy turned things around.
I mean, you're absolutely right about this. Let's quickly go look into the highlights and honestly break this down because these first couple of fights should have never happened in the first place, right? This is an extremely losable position when you are having not only your mid lane and your EXP completely dominate the entirety of the map. What really matters at the end of the day is how they approach these fights. Black Dragon form only needs to be used in most critical situations when you guarantee your opponents to actually walk away from your structures, which is why you're seeing that in a lot of these fights, it's going to be dominant. I'm just going to skip ahead. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to skip ahead because a lot of these fights will look exactly the same. However, when we start talking about Team Mongolia's representatives, the way that they started to play the game slightly changes from late game onwards. They understood straight away, hey, our backline is dying to sing extremely often. That Blazing Duet is going to be a problem. So spacing became the most important resource rather than just their battle spells. Now, for the upcoming fights, right? Big throws on multiple different occasions, and of course, we want to highlight the key plays that really turn things around. And I think that the most important one has to be coming towards the later stage because everything that could have gone right for this last fight after Zexora gets caught. If Zexora was still alive, there was a pretty good chance that they buy themselves 5 minutes for this next upcoming fight was the most ridiculous you will ever see. Because notice that Bankai in the middle of this fight is able to actually find 3 members with a Flicker Landshaker. This is what Renmar was talking